many days should I travel to Bali? How much will it cost? What is the ideal Bali itinerary? And what about money? How to save money on a Bali trip? Don't worry, I'll answer all your questions. Hi, my name is Komal and I'm a travel content creator from India, and welcome back to my channel. In the previous parts, we talked about things that you should know before visiting Bali, जैसे कि visa, flights, currency, and in second part we talked about what happens when you land in Bali, how to reach your accommodation, which area to choose for right stay, and so on and so forth. So if you haven't watched the previous parts, you can click on the I icon here to watch it. Now this is the final part of the Bali travel guide, and in this part we are going to talk about Bali itinerary, how much will it cost, experiences and activity, and some travel tips and information. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's talk about itinerary first. देखो, बाली को तुम 7 days के लिए भी जा सकते हो, 10 days के लिए भी जा सकते हो, 14 days के लिए भी जा सकते हो, 1 month, 3 month, you name it, you can actually visit there for that many days. Because बाली में करने को इतना सब कुछ है कि आप कितने भी दिन के लिए वहाँ चले जाओ, आप बोर डेफिनेटली नहीं होने वाले. लेकिन बिकॉज टिपिकल डेज जो आइटनरी का होता है वो 7 to 10 days होता है, तो आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट 7 and 10 days itinerary over here. But if you are looking for orbit things to do in Bali, I am going to curate one particular dedicated video only talking about that. Coming back to the itinerary, on day 1 you reach Kuta. Kuta is basically the place where you have the airport and it's like Baga of Bali. And Kuta में ज़्यादा कुछ करने को नहीं है, but you think that day 0 or day 1 is for relaxing and getting your SIM card, getting the currency exchanged, and you can explore the Kuta's nightlife. You can go to Kuta Beach, Kuta Market, German Beach, all these places. सो बेसिकली डे 1 में क्या होगा कि आप थोड़ा चिल करोगे, रिलैक्स करोगे, थोड़ा लोकल्स को समझोगे, बाली कैसा दिखता है, कैसा फील होता है, वहाँ पे लोग कैसी भाषा बोलते हैं, वो सब चीज़ों को समझोगे एंड योर डे 1 विल बी सॉर्टेड. On day 2, you are going to visit Seminyak. Now, Kuta and Seminyak are very near to each other. Seminyak is famous for its parties, obviously. So I am sure you must have heard of Fins Beach Club. You can visit Fins Beach Club for a proper sundowner party. Like during the day, you can go to Seminyak Market, Seminyak Square. You can also go to Seminyak Beach, and towards say 3 p.m., 4 p.m. you can go to Fins Beach Club where you can enjoy a proper sundowner party. And once you are done with that and you're still not done with party, you can actually do a pub crawl in Seminyak or Canggu. And I would suggest 3 places for that: Mexicola, Sandbar and Old Man's. Sandbar की party रात के 3 बजे तक चलती है, so you can actually have a lot of fun there. But if you're not a party person and you're not interested in visiting the Fins Beach Club, you can actually go to Water Bomb Bali. It is more like a water park kind of place. Water park exactly, not even kind of place. And it is a perfect place to visit for couples also, if you're a family with kids looking for some adventure and some fun nice activity to do in Bali, so you can do that there. Now talking about day 3. Day 3 में we are going to the cultural hub of Bali, which is Ubud. And Ubud is in the center of Bali, तो उसके around में कोई beach नहीं है, okay? अच्छा, by the way, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that वहाँ पे hotels में check-in जो होता है वो 2 p.m. होता है, तो keep that in mind when you are planning your itinerary or when you are planning your flights. Okay, now coming back to Ubud में on the day you arrive, you can do the typical things first if you are interested. So you can go to the Ubud Monkey Forest, Ubud Palace. You can explore the Ubud Art Market, and Ubud Art Market is like the perfect shopping destination for both men and women. And there is such good quality clothes, I must mention, and you can get it for really affordable prices. And make sure that you bargain, but don't bargain a little too hard. And you can also visit the Campohan Ridge Walk, and if you are someone who wants to get some Instagrammable pictures, you can definitely visit the Bali Swing. So yeah, your day 3 is sorted. On day 4, you can either go for the Mount Batur sunrise hike, or you can go for a waterfall exploration kind of thing. So it's totally up to you what you want to do. If you are someone who really want to do a volcano hike, remember that you have to wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning, and they'll pick you up at your location or at your hotel. Then they'll take you, you're going to hike, you're going to see the sunrise, then you come back and it is already 11 a.m., 12 noon. And by the time you come back, obviously you haven't slept the entire night, so you would want to sleep, and that is basically your entire day. It is a good trek to do, but it's quite crowded these days. So yeah, do your own research in this case and find out if you would be interested in visiting or not. Another option is you can actually go for 2 things. You can go for the ATV ride experience, or you can go, you can go to visit a very nice waterfall. So Bali has such nice waterfalls, I must say. Like for example, you can go to Nung Nung waterfall, Leke Leke waterfall, Lemuk waterfall, totally up to you. You can research about these places, and these are really good places to visit. So I would definitely suggest option 2 instead of Mountbatten. You should do the second thing. And ATV ride, I'm sure you must have seen some Instagram reels. In fact, even I created an Instagram reel about ATV ride experience. By the way, I'm linking my Instagram over here. In case you don't follow me there, please do. Coming to day 5, we are going to do the typical Nusa Penida day trip. So Nusa Penida is quite a big island, जबकि वो देख के बहुत छोटा सा लगता है. And you have to take a ferry from Bali to reach Nusa Penida. So you can take a ferry from Sanur Harbour. So there are a bunch of harbours in Bali, and the most common route is the Sanur one, and it is the closest to Kuta, Seminyak and Ubud as well. Now you can either book your day trip from a website, say from example Klook or Get Your Guide, and you can take a day trip to west side of Nusa Penida. You can actually choose a side, but if you are going only for a day trip, I would say that you choose the west side. So west side will have Kelingking Beach, Broken Beach, Angels Billabong, and you can also visit Amok Sunset Bar, but I'm sure if you go from a tour operator, they won't take you there. But if you're going by yourself, you can actually visit one of the nice day clubs over there, and it's totally up to you. Both the options are good options to explore, like by tour operator or by yourself. When you're doing it by yourself, you definitely get more freedom to explore things at your own pace, and when you're doing it with a small group also, then you have to follow the rules and guidelines that they are going to set and the timings that they want to follow, right? Now coming to day 6. Day 6 you are going to explore Uluwatu. Now one thing that you have to keep in mind when you are giving a drop location to your tour operator is make sure that your drop location is the next hotel that you have to stay in Bali and not the previous one, right? Don't make this silly mistake. So I'm assuming that if you are going to explore Uluwatu, you might stay somewhere in Uluwatu or Kuta area. So Uluwatu is a bit expensive, and there are more luxurious resorts in Uluwatu side. So you can actually book a hostel, or if you are a couple, you can book a stay in Kuta itself. And talking about Uluwatu, you can actually visit the Gadur Vishnu statue over there, and then you can go to the Uluwatu temple. If you are visiting during sunset, you can see the Kechak fire dance. Apart from that, if you want to explore some beaches, you can go to Nyang Nyang beach, you can go to Suluban beach, and honestly you can do all of this in one day, so it's not that big a deal. Coming to day 7, it's time to say bye to Bali, and it's time to depart. But if you are someone who is visiting for 10 days, I have 3 extra days information to give to you. Like, you can add these 3 days if you have more time, and you definitely should do that. So instead of visiting Nusa Penida, so the first 5 days look exactly the same. On 6th day, when I told you that you have to visit Nusa Penida, instead of Nusa Penida, you can go to Nusa Lembongan. Now, Nusa Islands has 3 islands. There is Nusa Lembongan, there is Nusa Seningan, and there is Nusa Penida, okay? Nusa Penida is the most famous one. Nusa Lembongan is relatively not that famous, but very, very beautiful. So if you are looking for less crowded place with similar landscape to Nusa Penida, different but similar, I don't know how to explain that, but you should go to Nusa Lembongan because it's really, really, really beautiful. You can take a ferry from Bali to Nusa Lembongan. You can explore Nusa Lembongan for a day. So you can go to Devil's Tears, Dream Beach, Mangrove Point, Yellow Bridge, and Blue Lagoon. Blue Lagoon was my favorite. All of this you can do in one day. You can actually rent a scooter over there and explore these locations. And instead of staying in Nusa Penida for only a day, you should consider staying in Nusa Penida for 2 days. So you can do the East Nusa Penida tour, and you can do the West Nusa Penida tour. West looks exactly the same like I mentioned earlier. East side is going to look like you visit the Goa Giri Putri temple. Now this is very uncommon recommendation, but I really loved it. You are basically exploring a temple inside a cave. Quite beautiful, quite nice. And you can go to Diamond Beach. I'm sure you must have heard of Diamond Beach. Then there's Thousand Islands viewpoint. We have Suvehan Beach. So Suvehan is an offbeat recommendation that I'm giving to you. Then you can come back to Uluwatu, and then you have your departure. So this is how you can basically complete your 10 days itinerary. Now let's talk about how much does it cost in Bali. तो सबसे पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं फ्लाइट से. फ्लाइट इज गोइंग टू टिपिकली कॉस्ट यू समवेयर अराउंड 25,000 से 35,000 के बीच, डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हेन यू आर बुकिंग एंड व्हाट सीजन यू आर बुकिंग, व्हाट इज योर प्रेफर्ड टाइम, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. So 25,000 to 35,000. Then coming to visa is available online or on arrival, and it is going to cost you $32 US, which is 2,800 rupees, no matter where you are booking it from. Number third three is SIM card. SIM card will cost you somewhere around 500 to 700 rupees, and I will recommend Telkomsel like I have recommended in my previous videos. And coming to, let's see. Okay, accommodation will cost you somewhere around 500 rupees to 1500 rupees per day. Now that totally depends on what kind of accommodation you are looking for. I generally stayed at hostel, and I would recommend hostel if you're a solo traveler, and very nice hostels and very budget friendly prices. It will cost you somewhere around 500, 600, 700 to stay in these hostels, and if you're looking for a private room, then it might cost you somewhere around 1400, 1500 rupees per night. So taking an average out of these money range, then it is going to cost you 1000 rupees per day, assuming so for 7 days it's going to cost you 7000 rupees for accommodation. Coming to food, I'm a vegetarian, so I have a little vague idea about the non-vegetarian prices, but as a vegetarian, every meal I was spending somewhere around 500 to 600 rupees, no matter what. No matter how less I am eating, how much more I am eating, I don't know why, but one drink, one dish, one side dish is going to cost you somewhere around 500 to 600 rupees per meal. So I can say that entire day is going to cost you 2000 rupees per day. Okay, talking about local transport, you can rent a scooter in Bali for 400 to 600 rupees per day, and you can also use cabs like Grab or Gojek, and you can book your cabs from there, and it's quite cheap only, I would say. And there's also Rapido like service that Grab and Gojek provide, so even you can opt for that. Then coming to activities, so I'm going to list the experiences over here, like the activities and also along with its prices. So the total cost for 1 week budget trip is going to cost you 25,000 to 45,000 excluding flights. So if we include flights, it is going to cost you somewhere around 50,000 to 70,000, 75,000 for 1 week. Now if you're going to stay for 3 extra days, it's not going to increase the price much. You are going for mid-range trip or luxury trip. Mid-range is going to cost somewhere around 70,000 to 1,30,000, 1,40,000, 1,50,000, and luxury trip, I don't know because you can go as high as you want, you can splurge as much as you want. Coming to money saving hacks in Bali, if you are going to eat at cafes all the time, it is going to cost you bomb. So it's better you make a mix of local warungs as well as cafes. It is basically like a local shop where you can eat the local dishes of Bali like nasi goreng and stuff like that. Number 2 is always rent a scooter in Bali. It's very easy and very easy to get around in Bali with a scooter. Or you can go for the Grab option, but make sure that you're not booking a taxi on a meter basis because they are going to scam the shit out of you. Number 3 is carry US dollars with you because the exchange rate is much better in US dollars. Number 4 is download offline maps, please. So if you are going to download offline maps, it is going to help you get around in Bali like crazy. Why I'm saying that? Because there are going to be situations where you're going to stuck, there is nobody going to help you around, and then you have to pay a lot of money to get back to your hotel. Save yourself from all those situations and download offline maps. Please, Google has an option. There's another app called maps.me. Do that. Okay, what else? Get a travel insurance, because if you're going to get hurt, then travel insurance is going to come in handy. If you're going to withdraw money from there, make sure that you're using Mandiri ATMs because they allow you to withdraw somewhere around 2 to 2.5 million IDR at one go, and that saves a lot of money because you have to pay a withdrawal charge every time you're withdrawing money. And lastly, I would say that if you are an adventure junkie and if you're someone who likes doing stuff your own way, please do not book package deals because they sort of ruin the experience in my opinion. Instead, like design your own trip, DIY trips, and there's so much information available out there, not just from me but from other creators as well, that you can use to curate your own trip. In case you don't want to curate your own trip and you're still stuck, I would say get on a one-on-one session with me and I'll help you curate the best trip, and I'm sure I might have been able to build that trust for you that I know how to plan a trip in Bali. So I'll see you in my one-on-one sessions if you want to. The link is in the description box below. Yeah, so that brings me to the end of this video. If you have not watched part 1, part 2 yet, please do, and like and subscribe because that definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. And I am new to this, I'm a new creator, this is going to help me a lot. And leave a comment if you liked my video or something that you would like to improve me upon. I would love to receive constructive feedback in that case. And I'll see you in the next video where I'll be talking about offbeat things to do or places to visit in Bali. Till then, take care and terima kasih.